I am beside the one and only Francis Kong. Probably right now in the country, he is the #1 motivational speaker and has been blessing the world for how long now?
So many years, and now I realize that you add pressure to a lot of people with the kind of introduction.
That's
oh
true.
My goodness.
My gosh. Thank you, Francis.
My pleasure.
I'm sure you know him. He has a column in the newspaper.
Philippines.
For how many years now?
Oh, that's gonna be my 13th year this year.
Imagine that. He's got books, like best-selling books all over the place. And like you talk to any company, like I get invited once in a while, and every time they invite me, they say, "Oh, Francis Kong was with us last year. Francis Kong did this," and I said, "Yep, he's the man."
They're probably my friends and relatives who run the companies. Yeah.
Francis, I know that a lot of people know you already, but can you give us a little background? For, what brought you to where you are now? A little background.
Well, I guess I've always been in business. I love doing business until today. The country know me as a speaker and a writer, but what they don't really know, I'm still very active in business, and I'm a consultant for businesses. And but I realized one thing, that doing business is good because it keeps you abreast of what's happening. But the greater joy of doing business that propelled me to what I'm doing right now is, even while I was in business, I love the fact of learning, accumulating knowledge, and then sharing it with people.
Wow.
So when I was in business, I think my clientele would love to invite me so I can share with them what are the future trends, where's marketing going, what are the stuff they need to do in order to bring their business to the next level. So I decided na masarap pala mag-business, pero mas masarap yung sharing ideas and helping people.
Wonderful.
But I never realized that one day, doing professional training and doing speaking would be parang ito nang naging major part of what I do. So the garments company that I started many years ago, it faded into the horizon. Even when I left a couple of years ago, I think that company closed. But my work continued. This time, it's more intensive on, Bo, you're a speaker, I'm a speaker, you train, I train. We are actually communicators.
Absolutely.
So we are communicating and we are sharing ideas that we feel can help people. So that got me to be doing this for how many years? I can't count the years anymore. I can't count the years.
Yeah, and you've been doing it so well. I have met so many people who come up to me and say, "Oh, Francis Kong said this," and it made me decide to do that. You were there in the deciding moments, the pivotal moments of people's lives.
Were you listening closely when they said that? Did you not hear them say, Francis Kong said this, and he probably copied it from both sides?
But you've been doing an amazing work for the country, and you also go around out of the world, out of the country, speaking to many audiences. That's amazing.
Well, the main thing is that the world is getting smaller and smaller. Somebody says the moment you logged into the internet, you're already global.
That's true. So if you're going to say, who is Francis Kong, what would your answer be?
I would be the worst person to talk about myself. But the best person to talk about me would be my ex-girlfriend, who is my wife now for 37 years.
The Ilocana.
Yeah, the Ilocana. And I think if you're going to ask me to assess myself, I would say that I'm just a worthless person, if not only for the grace of God to put me where I am.
Amazing.
We're all born with factory defects, but we have a God who repairs defects, right? So if it were not for that one, I wouldn't be here. So this is simply my response to His unique calling in life, and this is what I do.
Wow. I'll make you a little embarrassing, and embarrassed, and you don't have to answer this. But what would be your biggest lesson from your biggest failure? Maybe choose one of your failures and say, I learned a lot from that one, and this is my lesson. I want to know the lesson more than the failure. But if you want to share the failure, that's fine.
You're right. I'm embarrassed. But I'm going to share with you. The biggest life teaching lesson ever is when I did not listen carefully to my wife.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
I tell my people, I value my wife's counsel, I value her advice. She's with me practically all the time. And then my business friends would say, oh, but your wife doesn't know your business.
Oh.
My response is, yeah. She doesn't know my business that well, but she certainly knows me better.
Oh.
So she can say, sweetheart, parang there's something off with this person. Ooh. Sweetheart, parang itong deal na to, parang hindi yata maganda.
Galing.
Sweetheart, you're getting excited. Maybe you might want something time before you make a decision.
Ganda.
I refused that. Therefore, what happened was, I got cheated in business.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, when I think back, and my wife is not the type who would say, I told you so. But I knew, non-verbal communications. Parang nakikita ko na sa mata niya. Sabi ko, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I should have heard. That's one of the most important lessons.
Why are women so insightful? I mean, it's crazy.
Well, let me tell you why women are so insightful. Men like you and me, we are extremely tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision, that's right.
So that's not a very bad thing because we're supposed to be hunters. That's why we're called to lead in the home, in the community, right? So our vision is so tunnel because we are hunters. We hunt.
That's right.
Women are peripheral in vision.
Galing.
They see everything. Kaya nahuhuli mga lalaki because they see everything. And what they see is when they see you doing something, first vis-a-vis what you're saying, vis-a-vis your body language, they feel something is off, which we always term as intuition.
That's right.
Yeah, but they're naturally gifted by God with that facility, which we don't have as men. Right?
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Did you hear that, guys? So listen carefully. If you're married, listen to your wife.
Exactly, yeah.
If you're single, listen to your mom.
Exactly. And never forget, behind every successful man stands a surprise mother-in-law. Be good to your mother-in-law as well. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's wonderful. One of the things I like about your talks, your books, is that there is meat behind it's easy to be a motivational speaker in the sense that, you just give positive stuff, but there's a lot of experience that you bring into, and that's basically from your businesses. And all the many years of handling your own business, plus of course consulting other businesses. My question would be in terms of business. If you're speaking to a group of entrepreneurs in front of you, all of them young, all of them new, and you a seasoned business person, it's so easy to say, be positive, reach for your goals. But from somebody with your experience, can you give them, what advice will you give a new bunch of young entrepreneurs?
Well, that's a great question. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tackle that question two ways. One way is to remind myself, the other way is to advise the young entrepreneurs. To remind myself constantly, I remind myself I don't like to be a motivational speaker.
Wow.
Because if you take a look at the word motivation, it simply means, when you use your imagination, parang two words yan, motive and action. I don't know what your motives are, and I certainly cannot take your actions in your behalf. Therefore, my logical conclusion there would be, no one can motivate anyone except the self.
Beautiful.
But we can educate and inspire people to become self-motivated.
Beautiful,
right?
beautiful.
So if you don't understand that concept, we tend to say, you can do it, kaya mo yan. Which is unrealistic minsan. You're in business, you cannot be unrealistic.
That's right.
Para kang coach ng basketball team, last 2 minutes behind 30 points, you can win. Di ba? Malabo yan. So I have to remind myself, Francis, you are an educator. Your job is to educate people for the purpose of transformation.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Now, the one thing I want to share with and remind the young entrepreneurs is simply, don't be in a hurry.
Wow.
If you're too much in a hurry, you want to earn your first million, you want to be known, you imagined yourself as gracing the magazine cover of Fortune 500, whatever. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Success entails process. And that's the tangible thing. It entails process.
Yeah.
The other metaphysical thing is you got to make sure that's God's calling for you.
Wow.
Because God's calling for you may not necessarily be successful in your business, but successful in other aspects of your life.
That's right.
That can propel you to the next level and to the next chapter of your life.
Wow. Wow.
So faith is part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be in a hurry, and then look at calling.
Right.
That's so
Exactly.
so beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you.
amazing. Okay, maybe kind of like wrap this up. So you're in entrepreneurship. You give advice also, of course, to young
Yeah,
students. You
I
give,
do, yeah.
and then marriage.
Yeah.
I know you give talks on marriage.
yes.
It's amazing. So maybe, what would you want Francis Kong to be remembered? You've done so much. You've said a lot of messages, and if there's one thing you want everyone to remember you by, what would it be?
Yeah, that's another way of you asking the same question, like, what would your legacy be, right?
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying this because I'm, attempting to be super spiritual or anything. But the fact is, that is something I never cared to think about.
Wow.
Let me explain. A legacy is what you leave behind,
Yes.
right? So that means you're no longer around.
Yes.
So a legacy should be what other people will accord you. Had you been a good person or had you been a bad person, that's the legacy you leave behind.
That's right. That's right.
I'm always a person who looks forward to the future.
Beautiful.
I'm not very concerned with what I'm going to leave in the past. The past is I will leave the world and I'll leave my family and I'll leave God to judge me. I look forward to being with Him. That's where the best place should be.
Absolutely.
So meanwhile, I'm going to do the best that I can do according to God's grace. If I fail, He is gracious naman, He can make me recover. If not, and if I succeed, I would just always remember, wala namang kinalaman sa akin yan without Him. Then I'm just going to move forward and move forward and move forward. When I'm no longer around, whatever they say or think about me doesn't even matter to me anymore.
Yes.
But that's how it is.
That's amazing. That's a
Thank you.
fantastic answer.
Thank you.
Very deep.
Thank you.
And it takes a man of wisdom and faith
Thank
to be able to answer that.
Yeah.
You're so I can't let you go without asking. You're so fit. You're strong. What keeps you this way?
Oh, intentionality. With the basic fundamental knowledge that as we grow older, the waistline gets thicker, the bone gets heavier. So, the more you have to be very careful with, I'm going to ask you a very serious question, which I asked to my participants.
Yes.
Complete the sentence, Bo.
Yeah.
You are what you
Eat.
eat, right?
Yeah.
One businessman says, if I'm what I eat, then by now I would have become French fries. No? So if people say you are what you eat, the Bible says you are what you think.
Wow.
Now, this is the key verse that has propelled me to exercise discipline in what I put into my mouth. There's one admonition in the Bible wherein God says, their God is their belly. In other words, their appetite is their God.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Psychology says human instinct for survival starts with the physiological needs.
Yes.
If we can conquer our own appetites, we can practically conquer everything.
Wow.
So if I can conquer the way I eat,
Yeah.
I can practically conquer everything.
Yeah.
Just like you stay fit and trim over the years.
I try, yeah. Wow. So that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Appetite, overcoming the appetite. That's so wonderful.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bo. Thank you.
Thank you. It's wow, such a joy. Truly Rich Club members, we're going to have a success code show with Francis at 8 o'clock in the morning, available for the next 4 days. And I'm going to ask him a few more questions, and I'd love to share that with you. Thank you so much, Francis. Thank you. Such
Thank
a
you.
joy.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. If you're not yet a member of the Truly Rich Club, please go to www.trulyrichclub.com. God bless you. Thank you. See you Thursday.